The teaching learning process. It is very much important that they need to understand the clear definitions of certain concepts that are commonly used. Methods, approaches and strategies are the three terminologies that are often used interchangeably as per the research reports. However, these synonymous words can be interpreted to portray different meanings. This unit deals with the definitions of these terminologies and tries to establish the major differences between these concepts. Methods are the ways of presenting instructional materials or conducting instructional activities. A method encompasses the principles and methods used for instruction. Commonly used teaching methods may include class participation, demonstration, recitation, memorization, or combinations of these. According to the information or skill that is being taught, the teachers can select any of these teaching method or methods. The aptitude, interest and intelligence of the students may also influence the teaching method adopted by the teacher. This consists of a set of procedures and practices that the teacher follows as well as the actions that are taken to deliver the content. It takes some guidelines from approaches and imparts pointers to strategies. Some examples are the inductive method, deductive method, project method, problem method, lecture method, metacognitive method, unit method, demonstration, recitation and the audiolingual method. A method could be defined as a target plan or set of orderly procedures that are based on a realistic approach. It intends to reveal what needs to be done in a systematic way and how to focus on achieving the goals. An approach could be considered as a perspective, ideology, belief or theoretical stance on something. It comprises a set of logical assumptions that could be made for better comprehension of issues. It could also be seen as a term that originates the systematic plans and the strategies that are used to obtain specific objectives. Strategies include all those approaches that a teacher may employ in the classroom or outside the classroom in order to engage the students in teaching process actively. These strategies drive a teacher's instruction as they work to meet specific learning objectives, whereas a technique in a precise strategy, concrete trick or a tested tip that is designed to help the teacher reach the goals. It may be an exercise, a game or an activity that the teacher has to do in order to complete the target. Hence, by analyzing these concepts, we can conclude that an approach is an overview which applies to learning for all kinds of learners. The method is the plan suited for a specific type of learner and when it is applied to a specific group of students, that is a specific class or a section. It becomes a strategy. If method is the plan, then the strategy is the actual execution of the plan. Approach is the broad of the three, making technique or strategy the most specific, and the method found in between approach and the technique, that is strategy. An approach is an enlightened viewpoint toward teaching. It provides philosophy and direction to the entire gamut of instruction. It also sets the expectations to the complete spectrum of the teaching process. In addition, approach sets the general rule or principle to make the potential learning, whereas a teaching method comprises the principles and methods used for instruction to be implemented by teachers to achieve the desired learning by students. It is an organized, orderly, systematic and well planned procedure aimed at facilitating and enhancing students' learning. It is undertaken according to some rule which is usually psychological in nature. That is, it considers primarily the abilities, needs and interests of the learners. Method is employed to achieve certain specific aims of instruction. To make it is an effective instrument, it should be presented with certain amount of efficiency and ease. An effective teaching method would encompass the characteristics are acknowledges the individual differences, facilitates the learning of diverse learners, enhances smooth growth and development, helps the teacher to achieve the instructional objectives. It has to be remembered that there is no single best teaching method, and it is the responsibility of the teachers to explore various effective methods of teaching to make the realistic outcomes. The procedural variation of a method calls for the third term, technique. Technique includes the personal style of the individual teacher in planning and executing particular steps of the teaching process. Techniques enable the teacher to build and employ the procedures, that is method, of teaching in their unique ways. In due time, educators and writers started using the term teaching strategy with reference to the methods and procedures utilized in teaching. The term strategy is derived from the Greek word strategios, literally translated as the art of the general. As a military term, it appeared in the literature in the later part of the 18th century, referring to the larger aspects of conducting war. In the context, it was defined as the efficient application of resources to the accomplishment of objectives, primarily the defeat of the enemy's armed forces, while the largest aspects of conducting war were called strategies. Smaller movements were referred to as tactics. It was in the writing of American theorists and researchers such as B.O. Smith and Hilda Taba where the notation of a teaching strategy first appeared. But it was Willard B. Spalding who used the term strategy earlier when in 1958 he stated that the curriculum is the strategy by which the schools attempt to fulfill the goals of education. In a paper entitled Toward a Theory of Instruction, Smith defined that teaching as a system of actions intended to induce learning and strategy as a pattern of acts that serves to obtain certain outcomes and to guard against certain others. According to Aber et al., in the year 1971, teaching strategy is a purposefully conceived and determined plan of action. Ideally, the strategy is designed to facilitate a particular kind of learning in a given situation and in terms of a specific learning objective. The strategy is selected for use after a comprehensive assessment of the specific situation prior to the actual instructional art. The operations of assessing the situation and selecting the strategy represent the professional expertise that the teacher brings to the instructional setting. Another definition of teaching strategy was given by McCloskey in the year 1971. Teaching strategy is a teaching approach that is used either in solving a classroom problem or in improving instruction. Teaching strategies represent the combinations of specific procedures or operations grouped and ordered in definite sequence that teachers can use in the classroom to implement both cognitive and affective objectives. In this approach, the teacher is perceived to be the only reliable source of information in contrast to the learner-centered approach. Here, the teacher is actively engaged in teaching while the learners are in passive, receptive mode of listening as the teacher teaches. The teacher-centered classrooms remain orderly and the students are quiet as the teacher retains full control over the activities. At the same time, teacher-centered instruction can be boring to students. Their minds may wander and they may miss important facts. This approach holds the belief that the learner is also an important source and he or she is therefore capable of sharing information. This approach is based on the theory that students will take a different approach to how they study depending on the perceived objectives of the course they are studying. This approach facilitates communicative and collaborative skills through group work. Learner-centered classrooms are often busy, noisy, and chaotic. Subject matter gains primary over that of the learner. In a subject-centered approach to curriculum, each content area contains its own set of skills and concepts for mastering that content. For example, in science, students learn about the scientific method and science-related vocabulary. This knowledge is used while the students perform experiments and investigations in the later stage. In this approach, only the teacher is the sole dispenser of information. The teacher does most of the talking while the students remain as passive listeners, taking down notes. That is why it is sometimes referred to as didactic approach or talk and chalk. This approach does not allow students to express themselves, ask questions and direct their own learning. In this approach, an interactive classroom will have more student talk and less teacher talk. Students are given the opportunity to interact with the teacher and with other students. Interactive learning is a hands-on approach to help students become more engaged and retain more material. With or without a form of technology, interactive learning helps students strengthen problem solving and critical thinking skills. The students are expected to construct knowledge and meaning out for what they are taught by connecting them to prior experience. Teaching according to this approach is based on the belief that learning occurs as learners are actively involved in a process of meaning and knowledge construction as opposed to passively receiving information. Learners are the makers of meaning and knowledge. The teacher deposits knowledge into the empty minds of students for students to commit to memory. The term was first used by Brazilian educator Pablo Freire in his book Pedagogy of the Oppressed. Here he explains that most teachers consider students to be an empty account that needs to be filled up with knowledge as if they are depositing something like they do in bank. It makes the teacher connects what he or she teaches to other lessons of the same subject, that is intradisciplinary, or connects his or her lessons with other subjects, thus making his or her approach, that is interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary. Integrated curriculum is a student-centered approach to teaching. In teaching with an interdisciplinary approach, students are often given a choice, making the subject inherently more meaningful. It limits the teacher to discussing his or her lessons with the boundary of his or her subject. This approach focuses on the student's need to regain control, self-correct, redirect focus, or get back on track. Collaborative learning is an umbrella term for a variety of approaches in education that involve joint intellectual effort by students or students and teachers by engaging individuals in interdependent learning activities. Group work, teamwork, partnerships and group discussions are included in this approach. Individualized instruction is also known as differentiated instruction. Individualized instruction strategy refers to those classroom practices of teaching which recognize the uniqueness of each student learner and thus provide for adequate tutorial guidance and other support services suited to bring about a wholesome development among the learners. The ultimate goal of this type of approach is to provide a learning environment that will maximize the potential for student success. Direct instruction is the use of straightforward, explicit teaching techniques usually to teach a specific skill. It is a teacher direct method in which the teacher stands in front of a classroom and directly tells us or shows or demonstrates what is to be taught. It is an approach to teaching and learning in which concepts, patterns and abstractions are taught in the context of strategies that encompass concept learning, inquiry and problem solving. The teacher guides the learner to discover things for himself or herself. The teacher facilitates the learning process by allowing the learner to be engaged in the learning process with his or her guidance. Other teaching approaches cited in the education literature are as the name implies, teaching and learning are anchored on research findings. Research-based teaching means that students carry out research in their courses independently and with an open outcome. This helps to internalize and practice research conducts and methods. Skills such as formulating a precise question and processing and monitoring a research process. The learning process itself takes into account not only the academic needs of the learner but also their emotional, creative, psychological, spiritual and developmental needs. The teacher's role in the whole child approach is to encourage students to grow in every area. The main statutes to applying the whole child approach are making sure that students are healthy, safe, supported, engaged and challenged. The teaching process brings the learner to the process of thinking about thinking. The learner reflects on what he learned and on his or her ways of learning. This approach refers to methods used to help students understand the way they learn. In other words, it means processes designed for students to think about their thinking. As the name implies, the teaching learning process is focused on the problems. Time is spent on analyzing and solving problems. Problem-based learning addresses the need to promote lifelong learning through the learning. Problem-based learning addresses the need to promote lifelong learning through the process of inquiry and constructivist learning. It is considered as constructivist approach to instruction because it emphasizes collaborative and self-directed learning while being supported by tutor facilitation. To conclude, each approach varies in the degree of teacher and learner engagement, focus, number of learners involved in the teaching learning process. All these approaches can guide effective teaching learning process provided the teachers have to perform the task expected of them. Recognizing the importance of these approaches will help the teachers to better plan, implement and evaluate their instructions.